You should view this on a large screen. Some of the letters will be too small for a cell phone.
Thinking skills.
This video is not really a podcast. Think of it as a resource.
What we have in this video is a long list of different kinds of thinking skills.
If you want to know different ways you can use your mind,
this is it. This video isn't for everyone. If you turn away now, that's okay. If you want to know how to grow your mind, here is a good place to start.
We hope to include in other videos guidance on how to grow many of these skills.
Today is just a long list.
This isn't all of the thinking skills, by the way.
Are you still with us? Good.
Let's grow your mind. Here we go.
Our first one is analysis.
When you're analyzing, you ask, how does it all work? What is in it? How is it put together?
The second one is application. How can I use this?
What's it good for?
Finding out what everything else is good for. The third one is appreciation. What beauty is in this? Number 4 is believer's appreciation.
Can I see God's work in this?
There we go. Number 5, creativity. Thinking of something that people before you haven't thought of.
What's a good source for creativity?
Dreams are a good source for creative material. How about curiosity?
A desperate hunger to learn.
I wonder. I want to learn.
What it's good for? This is your inner motivation to grow intellectually.
Discernment.
The ability to distinguish true from false, good from bad, important from irrelevant.
Discovery. What else is there?
What do I not know?
Someone has said you are not educated until you realize how much you don't know. Now, discrimination.
Distinguishing between the fine points in an idea or argument. For example, such and such applies to X but not to Y. Not to be confused with social discrimination and unfair treatment of people.
Well, here's another one. Examining assumptions. What am I taking for granted?
11.
Follow through.
Thinking a matter through to its end. 12.
Forethought.
Thinking ahead, planning appropriate actions, considering the consequences. You might ask, what would be a good thing in the future? What could I do to help that happen?
Forethought is good for getting desirable results instead of painful ones.
13.
Imagination. What might be? What if? Possibility thinking. Openness to consider what has not previously been considered.
14.
Induction.
What's a more general case? This was true once. Will it always be true?
Also, there's insight.
The ability to perceive the inner nature of things.
Integration.
How does this fit in with previous knowledge?
Now let's talk about internalization. Consolidating what is learned onto one's native thinking processes. Number 18, interpersonal insight.
Understanding things from another's point of view. You can ask, how would another person consider this?
It's useful to think this way if you want others to understand, agree, and follow you.
19.
Intuition.
Gathering information and reaching a conclusion without using conscious means. You might say, I don't know how I figured it out, but I just know.
And now, knowledge.
Knowledge answers the question, what is this?
Being familiar with facts, the opposite of ignorance.
21.
Learning, growth in knowledge and abilities.
22.
Now logic. Clear, careful, correct, and precise reasoning. What's it good for? Discerning true from false, reasonable from unreasonable, good ideas from clever scams.
23.
Making sense of something.
Deciphering and explaining to oneself how reality works.
This is one of the important jobs of a baby or a toddler.
24.
Memory.
When you ask, what was it? That's memory.
What was it?
Storage and recall of facts and thoughts. 25.
How about observation? Noticing details with the mind and your senses.
26.
Organization.
Imposing order on the parts to produce a well-arranged whole.
Number 27. Pattern discernment.
What order is in this? 28.
Problem solving.
What's that?
Figure it out.
29.
And proving.
Providing an explanation that is beyond reasonable dispute. What's next?
Next is research.
How can I find out? 31.
Selectivity.
Ask yourself,
What shall I think about?
what is this good for?
This is an aspect of mental self-control. Did you know that you can be in command of your own mind? At least to a degree. You are not at the mercy of whatever thought wanders into or away from your head.
32.
Here's one I like. Self-teaching. Independent learning without reliance on a teacher. Often self-motivated, needing no external rewards.
What it's good for?
The best learning often occurs by self-teaching.
33.
Skepticism.
How do I know? How can I prove it or disprove it?
What's it good for?
You can't believe everything you're told. You can't even believe everything you think. 34.
Study. Trying hard to learn well.
35. Synthesis. Putting ideas together that were previously unconnected.
What's it good for?
New ideas. 36.
Truthfulness. Choosing a mental arrangement that conforms to reality.
37.
Understanding.
Comprehending, getting a grasp, not merely repeating. One more.
Number 38. Wonder. The sense of delight or awe associated with thought. What's it good for? It makes learning a delight. Wonder is part feeling and part thought.
Where do you get wonder from?
Good stories. Good stories help to strengthen wonder. Well, that's our list. What would you have added to it?
You might be asking, where is wisdom on this list? Wisdom belongs on the skills of the will and skills of the spirit lists. Biblical wisdom is what you do.
Again, this is a resource. If it's useful, you can use it. If it isn't, you can ignore it.
We also hope to publish for you guidance on how to use these skills and how to grow these skills in your life. And for that matter, skills of other parts of your soul. Skills of the emotions, the will, the conscience, the spirit, the gender, the personality, and so on. We pray that God will strengthen you in your inner being. That's what Paul prayed for one of his strongest churches, and that's what we pray for you.
Please read Ephesians 3:16.